Is Santa flying around the world and stealing kids? Could he potentially not be able to make his trips this year? And is he in the Illuminati? All of this on today's most amazing top 10 list.
It's also possible that maybe his blood could cure COVID. I mean, that's the rumor out there, and unfortunately, well, it's led some people to think they should do some pretty wacky stuff to Santa. And we got a lot to cover in this video, so I think we should get right into this one. How about you?
Let's get into it. Coming in number 10, we have he kidnaps naughty children. So where do all the elves come from? That is never explained in the Santa Claus lore, and it seems that it's a pretty huge gap in the knowledge of what goes on behind the scenes with the big man in the North Pole. And elves are a key part of his operation. Without the thousands, maybe millions of elves, how would he be able to do all the things that he does? Well, he wouldn't. And to ensure that he always has a fresh supply of workers, Santa Claus is kidnapping bad kids from all over the world and taking them back to the North Pole and forcing them to work for him. Santa heads out to drop off all his presents, but he's doing double duty. He's not just giving people what they wished for, he's also taking back a ton of fresh workers to come for the new Christmas season. Why do you think his sack of toys always looks like it has toys in it? Even when he's gone to most of the world, it still looks full. That's because every present gets replaced with a naughty kid. He hauls them all back in his massive sack and then dumps them in the toy shop and puts them right to work.
Now on to number 9, his elves are slaves. Everyone knows Santa has little helpers who wrap presents all year round for the big man in the red coat and white beard to hand out. There have been countless movies, TV shows, even songs about Santa's elves, and they always appear to be so cheerful and happy. But maybe it's all an act. And tying things in with Chase's previous point, how Santa takes naughty kids and makes them work for the next Christmas season, well, it seems quite evident that these elves, or kids, are working against their will. It's possible Santa has an army of both elves that he oversees, as well as the naughty youngsters, who inevitably will be taken to the most northern point of the world. Santa is known as the King of the North Pole, and for these elves to just be working all day long, wrapping gifts while cheerfully singing and dancing, all while Santa gets to kick back and relax, prepping for the one night that he has to travel the world, handing out presents. I mean, come on. He's obviously handing off the work he doesn't want to do to his elf slaves and calling it a career.
Coming in number 8, we have he's stealing from people. This guy is coming into your house and no one hears him. He's one of the stealthiest people on the planet. When he comes into your home, you're just trusting that he's not going to do anything shady. Well, what if he's doing something that isn't up to par? I mean, you have to leave out milk and cookies for the big man, and what happens if you don't? Does he go off the handle and put you on the naughty list because you didn't bribe him with some sugar? And what happens if he has some technical problems when he's going from house to house? His sleigh breaks down, his toy sack rips open, or any of the other millions of problems that could happen when you're delivering toys to every kid in the world. Well, he's not just going to stop the job, he's going to repair his sleigh, and he might need to take some stuff from you. And guess what? He's not gonna ask. He's not gonna wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you for a socket wrench, because A, it would reveal that he's real, and B, there's a good chance that you would just attack him in that moment.
Now next at lucky number 7, he inhumanely breeds reindeer. Everyone knows the wonderful Christmas song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He had a shiny nose and took the night with Dasher and Prancer and Vixen and all the others. But as we know, reindeer aren't immortal. They are, however, incredibly rare to find. So then how did Santa manage to snag 9 of them? Well, I think there's only one real logical answer here, folks. He breeds them for work purposes. And given that everything Santa does is under the radar, it's not like anyone will know how he treats the reindeer. And when it comes to getting things done efficiently, unfortunately, that means things won't always be done in the most humane way. What I'm getting at is Santa is breeding these reindeer inhumanely, and they likely live in very poor conditions. Aside from Santa, no one would ever really know where they live and how they're treated. Given that Santa uses them for literally one night out of the year to travel, I doubt he treats them any better than he treats his slave elves. Odds are Santa asks for cookies and milk because that's the one day out of the year he allows the reindeer to eat. After all, they're gonna need some energy if they're gonna do all that flying around the world.
Coming in at number 6, we have there isn't enough Christmas cheer this year. We all know that Santa needs Christmas cheer to be able to travel around the world. That's like his form of clean energy or something. Well, how do you build Christmas cheer? Well, you need a massive corporation to set up decorations in the center of a major city, and then you guys have to go out and buy things. Just kidding, but you do need people to get together and share some love, usually in the form of caroling or making a bunch of stuff or hanging out with your family or being excited for Christmas. But this year, all of that stuff is basically illegal, depending on where you are in the world. New Zealand Zealand is going to be bumping with Christmas cheer because they've kicked COVID right out of the country. But will New Zealand alone be able to create enough Christmas cheer to have Santa go all over the world and give out all his presents? I don't think so, man. There's only 4 million people in that country. That means Santa has to take the year off because we can't get together to spread the love for Christmas. Like, think about if you live far away from your parents. You would normally fly home, but this year you might not be able to get on a flight because flights might be shut down, or you're worried about getting your parents sick, which might be a blessing for some people who don't want to see their families, but for everyone else, we need that cheer so Santa can travel around the world.
Halfway through, that's number 5. We got He's Not Coming this year. 2020 has been a year like no other, so to think that this may be the first year Santa doesn't travel the world to deliver presents isn't such a far-fetched idea. We're still trying to find a way to deal with our current pandemic, and although Santa is technically immune, more on that later, those whose homes he'll be visiting certainly aren't. Now that's not to say that the big man himself would necessarily be the one to transmit the bacteria from house to house, but as we know, it can certainly live on clothing for quite some time. And if Santa is going from house to house all over the world wearing the same red coat and white gloves, well, it's quite possible he spreads the bacteria of either COVID or possibly other illnesses without realizing it. Now, assuming he doesn't want to do that and isn't selfish because, again, he's technically immune, so he has nothing to worry about, it's still possible Santa opts out of delivering presents this year. For a lot of us, the greatest gift we could ask for this Christmas or New Year is a clean bill of health. And one way Santa can ensure he's not responsible for spreading any more illness is if he takes one Christmas off, given the unprecedented circumstances. As much as it may pain him to sit back and relax for one extra day, it may be for the greater good of humanity. So don't be surprised if your tree is looking pretty bare this Christmas.
Coming in at number 4, we have Santa and Krampus are the same. We all know that there are two sides to the Santa tale. We got Santa Claus, who goes from house to house and gives you all the goods you've been waiting for. Unless you're naughty, then he just gives you some coal. Sucks to suck. But there's also Krampus, who finds out who the naughty kids are, the ones who got coal, and he eats them alive. Wow, dude, you need to chill out a little bit. But Krampus and Santa are two different people, right? Wrong! Krampus and Santa are one and the same. Some people have the theory that it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, aka the Hulk and Bruce Banner. So if Santa's traveling around from home to home and he has an encounter with something that's so over the top horrible, something that is so naughty he can't forgive it, then he will transform into Krampus, he will crash into your room and eat you alive. The blood of a child will return him back to his cheery self, and then he's off to deliver presents once again. How do you think Krampus is able to get into your home so easily?
Number 3, his blood cures COVID. People will try to harvest his blood. When Dr. Anthony Fauci revealed that Santa Claus was exempt from catching COVID because of his innate immunity, people started getting some crazy ideas. While speaking with USA Today, Fauci noted that Santa would still be spreading holiday cheer on Christmas, but he won't be spreading infections to anyone. And although that is all good and well, unfortunately the news led to some folks on the internet to get some rather, well, gruesome ideas. Given how long this pandemic has gone on and how many lives it's affected, to no surprise, people on the internet, mainly Twitter, started suggesting we harvest Santa's blood as that could be the cure for COVID we've all been looking for. Yeah, things got dark real quick on this one. So don't be surprised if people start setting traps around their homes, maybe Kevin McAllister style, in hopes of trapping Santa to drain him of that good.
Next on the list we have he is in the Illuminati. You can get into any house, you have access to an army of elves, you have wealth beyond anyone's understanding, and you possess magical powers that are potentially more powerful than nuclear weapons. Guess what? You're in the Illuminati. But this has been suggested for a long time, even outside of the magical myth of him. The image of Santa and the tool of Santa has been used to corrupt people for decades. I mean, did you guys know that Santa wasn't even red until Coke made him red? That's right, Coca-Cola transformed the image of one of the biggest marketing tools in the world so it would fit their brand better. They try and make him seem more wholesome, but really he's just something that a massive corporation uses to try and get kids indoctrinated with the idea of consumerism. Before kids are even smart enough to tie their own shoes, they're sitting on the lap of a corporate ad giving him a sales pitch of what they want their parents to buy them that year. Really, it's an ingenious plan by the Illuminati. Also, if you guys are hiring, I'd be down to join. Let me into the Illuminati, please.
And in at number 1, Santa profits off Christmas. Nothing in life is free, and although it seems Santa pretty much rules the North Pole, the guy still has to make his money somehow. If you haven't noticed yet, there's a reason why Coca-Cola has all these Christmas commercials featuring Santa Claus, whereas Pepsi doesn't. And that's because Coke owns the rights to Santa. It seems Mr. Claus is the biggest sellout of them all, as he's not only sold his image to a soft drink company, but he also allows people to profit off of his image by selling costumes resembling himself. Every year at Christmas parties, you see a guy dressed up pretending to be Santa Claus, wearing the beard, hat, and red coat. Obviously, they're not the real deal, but Santa has still found a way to make his profits. Even if he is overseeing all these elves and reindeer and holding them against their will, he still needs to house them, feed them occasionally, and keep them alive. And assuming there's millions, well, that ain't cheap.
Alright guys, that's it. That's been our list. I've been your host, Jay Dorena.
I'm your other host, Jared Bronstein.
I'll see you later.
Bye.